live sharpening. Today we're using fixed angle system. We're going to be using the Work Sharp Precision Adjust. We're going to start on a 320 diamond stone, and we are going to sharpen this Vosteed porcupine, and we are probably going to do it at about 16 degrees. It's a very thin blade with a pretty tight angle, so we're going to make it very keen. We are going to get it super sharp. Let's see, we're at 15.5 degrees. Let's check the other side. Make sure we're even. 15.5 degrees. Okay, we are perfecto. And that's where we're going to do it. 15.5. The 14C with the Vosteed heat treatment can handle it. So that's what we're going to do. And on my precision adjust, the on these, it's not really sturdy, like it kind of bounces, and that little bit of movement makes a difference. So what I did is I put a rubber grommet in the end of it, and it made it super tight, and it actually made it so tight that it wouldn't slide good. So then I just got some high-speed gun oil, squirt it down around that bushing, makes it work great. It actually needs a little bit more, but it made it completely sturdy and airtight. Like, it's so good now. But anyways, let's get to it. And we just very light pressure, letting the stone do the work. And I think that this was at a 17 before, so we're creating a whole new bevel. And just like when you're hand sharpening, you want to make sure not to go off the tip. What I do as soon as the tip disappears underneath the stone, I stop. Because if you don't, it will take your tip off, you know? Yeah, it is a very slicey knife. It really is. Like, it's 'cause it's the full flat and it's already thin anyways. It really is a slicey knife. I really like it. The Vosteed Porcupine is the one of the best budget knives out there. I really like the Vision FG also, which the budget version is better than the Wii Knives version, like the better version of it. So weird. Like the better version of it, the lock pops out and like it's not as comfortable in the hand and it's just weird. But the Civivi Vision FG is really good. That has a sheep's foot blade on it. This has kind of a leaf shaped drop point and it's very high flat ground. Yeah, this is making a bigger bevel, which is what I wanted. It's going to take a second to pull a burr with this because, like I said, I'm making a whole new bevel. And Basti does super good on their 14C, so it is good and hard. Probably 60 HRC. This precision adjust is a really good system. I really want to get a TS Prof, but I ain't really got TS Prof money, you know what I'm saying? We're starting to get a burr in a couple places. All right, we're getting close, so we'll transition to full strokes now. Because I've found that if you do full strokes like this, it makes your scratch pattern a lot more even. Which, I mean, once you get to a 3000, it's not really a big deal anyways, because it's mirrored out and you can't see the scratches with your eye anyway, but I know they're there. You know what I'm saying? All right, we are starting to get close. All right. Is there a noticeable difference on super high grits? Like once it's mirrored, is there a reason to keep going to higher grits? Yes, actually. Um, once you get to like as far as looks go, about 3000 is as high as you need to go for grits if you want a mirror polish, like just for looks. Otherwise, the reason to go higher to like the eight all the way up to like the 8000 grit Norton or like some of those Japanese water stones that are like 10, 12, 15,000 grit and stuff. The reason that you would do that is mostly for shaven razors or like maybe incredibly fine woodwork. Like if you need to take crazy, crazy thin shavings of wood or shaving hair, because it gives you a smoother, more polished edge. Because under the microphone, you have microphone. Under the microscope, if you look at the edge, it's microscopic serrations. So it's like a sawtooth, it's a microscopic saw. So the finer in grit you go, the more you reduce those teeth. So like especially on like a shaven razor, you'd want to go up as high as grit you possibly can. Because the smoother you get that edge, the better it'll cut hair and not you. It just depends on what you're using the blade for. Like sometimes you need a finer edge for things. It all depends on what you're doing. But like for like an EDC knife, like something if you just want it to look mirrored and just look good, you really only need to go to about 3000 and you can, make it look really good. And like as far as a knife goes that you're going to use all the time, like a lot of times whenever you go up in the higher grits, you'll lose the bite like of your edge. Like it won't want to slice into anything. Like it'll be crazy sharp. It'll shave hair and everything. But like the edge will want to slide, it'll like slip because there's just no teeth there. Like I said, that microscopic saw blade. So if certain steels, like really, really hard steels, like my Rex 121, I can only put a 400 grit on that because otherwise it just doesn't cut because it just slides out of everything. Like if you're like trying to cut rope, it'll slip on it and like almost be like squeak, 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 like, but if you do it on the 400, those teeth are able to stay and then it makes it really sink in the cut. So different steels like different grits. 14C is really good on the high grits, and it's really good for woodworking and stuff. Like if you're doing whittling and things like that, 14C is excellent. Really good steel for wood. And it takes a very fine edge and keeps its teeth. One of the best steels for keeping bite and high grits that I've found is Spy 27. Spy 27 from Spyderco. It's a specialty Spyderco steel. It's really similar to S45 VN. S45 VN also keeps its teeth when you get up into the high grits. We're starting to get a burr. There's one on the belly. There's not a burr on the tip or on the back. I'll get a little extra love there. And I'm not going to do one of those Jared burrs where just to show off the burr. You know, I ain't pulling no quarter-inch burr on my knife. I use my knives, so I don't want to do that. Because like if you can see the burr like that, you have way over sharpened. Like there's no reason to sharpen that much of your knife away. Hold up, my boy's waking up. I might have to get him and bring him out here. Y'all wait right there. I'll be right back. Buddy, get here. Oh, come see me. We're doing it live, bud. We're sharpening with people. Yeah. Yeah, hold on. Let me get you mobile. Hold on. There you go. There we go. There you go, buddy. Yeah. All right. There we go. I'm back. Sorry. Okay. Now back to what we was doing. Hey there. Let me get this out of his way so he can get through here. He'll trip out if he's blocked off. He likes his freedom. All right. Now back to what we was doing. We're getting a burr now, so we're about ready to run the grits. I use this knife a lot. It's taken quite a bit to get the edge back. Hey there, buddy. My boy's coming to check out what I'm doing. I'll tell you guys, there ain't nothing like having kids. Nothing like it. This boy's been the best thing that ever happened to me, for real. I cannot believe I don't have a burr down this whole blade yet. Goodness gracious. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Yeah, now we got a burr. All right, let's flip it. Make sure that this side's good too. Yeah, I can see the burr all the way down it. And the right light, you can see the light reflect off of the burr. All right. Yeah, that's a good burr. Okay, now the next stone we're going to is going to be the 600 grit. And burrs on the other side. So I'm going to flip this real quick. Okay. Yeah, we got a good burr there. Yeah. All right, moving on. Well, I guess I should show you guys. Here you go. There's the 320 grit. And here we go. Get on to the 600. A lot of people stop at 600. I mean, it's plenty. Like, especially if you like send your knives to a sharpening service, they'll probably come back sharpened to 600. And like in sharpening services, we usually use Trizact belts, and we use very slow moving machines so that way the blades don't get hot. Like belt sharpening really is good, especially for a knife you're going to use, like, and you can put convex edges and stuff with the belt, which lasts a lot longer. Yeah. Mhm. All right. Okay, now we move on to the 800 grit. But then I'll show you what we look like at 600. And there's the 600 grit edge bevel. Let me get it focused there. And you can see it's starting to get a shine on it. This is where it starts really looking good. After this 800, you'll be able to really see a good shine coming on. You always want to make sure you wipe your blade off because you don't want to get diamonds from the 600 on your 800, vice versa. You don't want to contaminate your stones. Yeah, these work sharp stones are really good. I've been using these for a while. My 320 is pretty wore out. I could use a new 320, but the other ones are still holding up great. Okay, 1 second. Okay. All right, we're almost done. I think that is it for the 800. Yep, that looks good for the 800. Now we move on to the 12. And now we're getting into our resin bonded diamond stones. You got the 1200 grit resin bonded diamond stone. These are the work sharp 1 inch stones. And I'll need to get some water real quick. Let me just grab a wet paper towel real quick. Okay. Get a wet paper towel. One over there. You just want to get the stone wet. And I like to use a paper towel so I can wipe off any loading too as I go. And want to make sure that your blade is good and cleaned off because you really don't want to get any of those bigger diamonds on this resin stone. Okay, I need to flip this because my burr is on the other side. You want to start on the side that your burr is on. And oh, I didn't show you the 800. So here we go. Here's the 800. It's really starting to get a good polish on it. Okay, and onwards to the other side. Okay. Oh, I love these resin stones. They're so good. And it doesn't take long at all to refine the scratch pattern because the knife's already sharp. We're just refining the scratches. Okay. Right now we're at there's the 1200, and now a 2000 grit resin bonded stone. That wiped off. Yeah, it's got such a good burr on it. Basti does such good heat treatments. Okay. And we'll get our 2000 good and wet here. Oh, I keep forgetting to show you. Okay, so here is the 1200. Let me wipe it off so you can really see. There's the 1200. Get it to focus. And I don't know if you can see that burr. You can see it a little bit, I think. Yeah, you can see it flaking off of there. Yeah, I can see some of the burr, like it's just flaking off and laying on the side of the blade. Like the burr is just flaking right off. There's some of it flaked off. You might be able to see it in the camera. You can see it right there. You see that flake up right there? That's part of the burr flaking off. And that's a sign of an extremely good heat treatment. If the burr just flakes off of there like that and doesn't just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth forever, you know, that's how you know you got a good heat treatment. He's knocking my camera stand off. Yeah, you got me. Okay, on to the 2000. Yeah, not a whole lot longer, bud. Hold on. We've only one more stone after this and a little bit of stropping to do. Next time I do this, I'll probably do like an overhead view, like where you're right here looking at it so that you can really see what's going on. I need to get a way to get the phone stood that way. I don't like have like a proper phone stand. I just kind of started this channel on a whim. I didn't like say like I'm gonna go buy a bunch of equipment and all that. It's like, I like doing knife stuff. I like sharing information, so I think I'm gonna do knife stuff on the internet. So here I am doing knife stuff on the internet. We got the 2000 done, and then we're on to our last stone, the 3000. Okay, now let me show you this 2000, show you what it looks like. There's the 2000. Really starting to get a good polish now. And you can see that burr on there flaking off. That's just so cool to me. But yeah, you can see how we're getting a really nice mirror there. Very nice. A-OK number one, Mr. Jones. Anybody know that reference? Okay. This is the last stone. This is the 3000 grit. And this is where you stop being able to see the scratches really with your eyes. Where they start getting microscopic. And it's like what it is you can see the scratches, but you can't pick out individual ones. So they're so tightly together that it appears a mirror. I just want to make sure that it's perfectly mirrored. Very anal retentive about this part. It's gonna look great. Mhm. So close. More water. Okay. And that is about there. Something to work out right there. Okay. And now we flip. I'm gonna do some back and forth passes. Let me get this wet again. Okay. Uh, and flip. You always want to do this at the end, just back and forth passes, just to make sure that it's all the way honed in. All right. Now, let me undo this. Take that off of there. Let me wipe this off and show you even before stropping, because the strop is going to polish it out even more. Look at that. There's that 3000 grit mirror. It takes, how long does it take for it to get sharp, is what you're asking, I'm guessing. If I'm just trying to get it sharp, I can get it done in about 2 minutes. I have a video doing it super fast in my shorts. And to get this edge, if I'm just doing it and not trying to explain anything, and I'm just going fast, I can get this edge in about 15 minutes, roughly. So it doesn't take all that long. It's not that big of a deal to do. It's just, knowing how to do it. And it will get even shinier when I hit it on the strop. But there it is. Don't that look good? Like, that is just wild to me. Like, so nice. And this Vosti porcupine is good. Yeah, it looks good, don't it? It's a really nice polish. That turned out great. I'm really happy with that. And grab that strop real quick. I just got it right here in the cabinet. This is one of the better strops I've gotten. The wood is just something. Don't worry that the strop was just the leather. It's a Beavercraft slab of leather, and it's so good. And this piece of wood has little leather feet on or rubber feet on it, so it don't slip. And I've got on here is I think this is either I think it's 1 micron stroppy stuff. That's what that is. So we're gonna strop it to a 1 micron, and on that bird is just laying on there, it just flaked right off. That is so cool. So just back and forth with a slightly lower angle of attack than what you was sharpening with, and very light pressure. Just back and forth. There's that part right there being a little stubborn. Okay. Yeah, this turned out so good. All right, let's see. Oh yeah. Whoa. This edge will last. Um, let's see, after a day's work, I can hone it back. I can probably do that for about probably every 2 months. I can hone it for about 2 months and just hit on ceramic and strop and bring it back. And if I did nothing at all and just used it until it was dull, and dull to me about a week. Dull to the average person, it would probably last 6 months before it started getting to where, like, when they went to cut something, it didn't do it, But I get out of 14C about a month and a half before I actually have to sharpen it, because honing and sharpening are two different things. So like if like once it stops cutting good, you can usually just hone it back, because usually your edge is just rolled a little bit, or those microscopic teeth are just out of alignment, and that leather will bring it back. You can usually just drop it right back into shape. But about a month and a half. But yeah, so I guess I'm done. That's that's all I had to do. So I appreciate y'all coming along and hanging out. I really enjoy these. You know, the few people that watch, I do appreciate you. You know, it's nice to have somebody to hang out with while I do this stuff. So, anywho, y'all have a good one. I'm gonna hop off of here and hang out with my boy here. Y'all have a good one. Appreciate you hanging out. Take care.